Hey everyone, my name is Summer Fiut and I am going to be teaching 6th grade mean, median, mode, and range, and by the Alabama State Course of Study. It tells us that we will be teaching 6th graders given a set of data or a graph for them to describe the distribution of data using mean, median, mode, and range. These students will also learn to calculate, use, and interpret data using mean, median, mode, and range. We also learned about mean, median, mode, and range in Alta, and I'm going to be explaining to the students what those words mean and the difference between mean, median, mode, and range, and how to better determine the difference between them. I also have an activity for us to do to make it a little more fun. It is from Teachers Pay Teachers by Angela Owens, and then I'll also have a little printout for the students to take home to help them memorize the definition of mean, median, mode, and range by Learn in Color. Okay class, so I printed out for everybody to take home some poems that have a cute little rhyme about mean, median, mode, and range, and it's going to help you to remember it a little bit easier. So when you're at home, I want you to sing or say this to yourself so that you can practice and memorize it when we're in class. It'll make things a lot easier for you. So the poem is, hey diddle diddle, the median's the middle, you add and divide for the mean, the mode is the one that appears the most, and the range is the difference between. Okay? So, remember to practice that when you take it home and have fun with it. Okay class, so first I'm going to go over how to find the mean in any given data set. So let's say we have a data set of 1, 8, 3, 2, and 6. Okay? If we're wanting to find the mean of this data set, we're going to simply add 1 plus 8 plus 3 plus 2 plus 6, and then we're going to divide it by how many numbers are in this set. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers in this set. So we're going to add them all together and divide by how many numbers are in this set to get our answer. So 1 plus 8 plus 3 plus 2 plus 6 is 20. Okay? 20 divided by 5 is going to be 4. Okay? So the mean to this data set is 4. Okay, now we're going to go over the median in any given data set. So if we're trying to find the median, we're going to first put our numbers in order. So let's say we have the number, I'm going to make this real simple for you, 2, 1, and 3. Okay? So first we're going to put these in order, which is going to simply be 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now they're in order. And then we're going to figure out which number's in the middle, median, middle. That's how we're going to remember it. So our median is going to equal 2. 2 is in the middle of our data set. There's an equal number on both sides. Okay, so let's try one that's a little harder. Okay, let's do the number 1, 2, 3, 8, and 6 in this data set. Okay, so we've got to put them in order because we see right here these numbers aren't in order. So we're going to change that to 1, 2, 3, 6, 8, and now they're in order. All right, so now we're going to figure out which number is in the middle. I'm going to go from this end to this end and mark them out to find out which number's in the middle, which is 3. So my median for this data set is 3. Okay, so median can be a little tricky because sometimes there will be 2 numbers in the middle. So what do? Okay, I'm going to tell you. So you are going to find the mean of those 2 numbers, and that's going to give you the answer. So let's try an example like right here. Okay, so we're going to try this data set. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so this is an even set of numbers in this data set, and whenever there's an even set of numbers, we know that we're going to have to find the mean. So here we see that we have 2 in the middle. Okay, so like I said just a minute ago, we have to now find the mean of these 2 numbers. 2 plus 3 equals 5. Okay, so now we're going to divide that 5 by 2 because there's 2 numbers, and that's going to give us 2.5 as our answer for our median. Okay, so if you ever have 2 numbers in the middle, just adding them together and then dividing them by how many numbers, which will be 2, to find your median. Okay, I also wanted to make a quick point here before we moved on to finding the mode of a data set, that for our median here, we got 2.5, right? 2.5 is not in our data set, but it is still the median because it is simply the middle of our data set. 2.5 would fit in right here between the 2. So there's an even number on both sides of that middle. Okay? Okay, class, now we're going to go over the mode. Okay? So when we're trying to find the mode of any given data set, we're going to look for the number that we see the most often. And a way to remember that is the first 2 letters of mode is MO, most often. Okay? So mode, think most often. The number that occurs the most often. Okay? So if we have a data set, let's go with 2, 1, 1, 1, 3, and 6. Okay? Which number occurs the most often? 1. Okay? So 1 is our mode. Okay, that was super easy. So now let's try another one. Okay, let's do this. 1, 5, 0, 8, 4, 2, 2, 0. Okay, what numbers occur the most here in this data set? Whoa, looky here, we have more than one number that occurs the most. So we have 0 that occurs 2 times, and then we have 2 that occurs 2 times. So what do? We're gonna have 2 answers. So 0 and 2 are both the mode, okay? So what about this one? I'm going to give you a tricky one now. Let's see if you can figure it out, okay? Because sometimes mode can be a little confusing. What about this data set? 1, 2, 3, 4. So now what are we going to do here? Well, do you see any that are occurring more than once? I don't. So do we have a mode? No, there's no mode. So mode, we're just gonna put no mode here. So that was super duper easy. And now we're gonna go over range, okay? Range is kind of easy too. The range of the data set is gonna be the largest number in the data set minus the smallest number in the data set, okay? So let's say we have this data set here, okay? 5, 2, 6, 7, 5, 1, and 8. Okay? So, what is our largest number here in our data set? 8. What is our smallest number in our data set? 1. So, the larger number, 8, minus the smaller number, 1, equals 7. Okay? So 7 is our range of this data set. Okay. So now that we have gone over mean, median, mode, and range, we are going to get to do a fun activity with some balloons. Are you ready? Let's do it. Okay, class. So I know that these data sets and finding the mean, median, mode, and range, it's a lot of information to take in all at once. And some data sets can be huge. There can be 20 numbers or 100 numbers. There can be a lot. So when we're adding all those numbers together, sometimes we can get confused and mess up. And one little mess up can cause us to get the whole problem wrong. So just remember to take your time, take a deep breath, and make sure that you're plugging in those numbers correctly in your calculator or when you're adding them up in your head. And just remember that you got this. It's a lot of information, but we can do it, and that's why we're practicing, and that's why we're going to do a fun activity. Okay, class, it's time for our soaring balloon activity. Normally we would do this outside and we'd have a larger range of data numbers for our data sheet, but because the weather's bad, we are going to do our activity inside today. So everybody grab your balloon with your name on it, and we're going to simply hold it out and let it go. And after we let it go, we're going to measure the distance between where we're standing on the ground all the way up to where our balloon lands on the ceiling. And we're going to measure that distance, and we're going to calculate it on our data sheet. We're going to do this 10 times. And once we do this, we are going to calculate the mean, median, mode, and range of that data. Okay guys, let's get started. Okay guys, we are all gonna let our balloons go at the same time. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go! Now that we've recorded all the distances that we measured from our balloons, we're going to write them down on our sheets, on our data recording sheets. So, in the living room, we had 136 inches. In the kitchen, we had 105 inches. In the living room, in a different area, the balloon landed in 123 inches. In the bedroom, it was 104 inches. In the other bedroom, it was 115. The porch ceiling was 108 inches. The front door awning was 108 inches. Then we had another room that was 105 inches. And then the living room in another area was 113 inches. And then in the guest bedroom, 108 inches for that. So now we're going to figure out our mean, median, mode, and range of this data, and then we will be done. Okay class, now we're going to look over our data recording sheet. that has all of our balloon soaring numbers, and we're going to find the mean. So remember, the mean is where we add up all the numbers in our data sheet or data set. We add up all the numbers in our data set, and then we divide it by however many numbers there are in that set. So if you remember, we let our balloon go 10 times. So there are 10 sets in our recording sheet. So when we add all these numbers in our data set together, we get 1,125. Okay? So when we divide 1,125 by 10, we're going to get 125.5. Okay, so this is our mean of our data set. Okay, so we're going to put 125.5 as our mean. Now we're going to find our median of this data set. So median is when we put all these numbers in the data set in order, and then we're going to find which number's in the middle. Okay, so if we put all these numbers in our data set in order, we'll have 104, 105, 105, 108, 108, 108, 113, 115, and 123, and then 136. Okay, so now that we have our numbers in order, we're going to determine now what number is in the middle. So for me, the easiest way to do this, and it probably would be for you too, is just to slowly mark out each number on each end until we get to the middle, until where we have even numbers on each side. So right here, we have 2 numbers in the middle. So remember, when we have 2 numbers in the middle, we're technically going to take the mean of those 2 numbers to get our answer for our median. We're going to add 108 plus 108, because they're the 2 in the middle, and we're going to get 216. Okay, then we have to remember to divide it by 2 because there's 2 numbers. So 216 divided by 2 equals 108. So 108 is our median of our data set from our balloon soaring activity. So our median is 108. Now, class, we're going to look for our mode of our data set. Mode, which is, remember, MO, most often. Okay, that helps us remember. Mode, most often, the number that's occurs the most often. Okay, so again, we have 104, 105, 105, 108, 108, 108, 113, 115, 123, and 136. Okay, so when we look at this data set, which number do we see that is occurring the most often? I see that 108 here occurs 3 different times. It occurs more than any of the other numbers. So 108 is my mode. And I'm going to write that on my data set sheet. 108. Okay. You can stop it. Okay, class, now we're going to find the range of our data set. So if you remember, the range is the largest number in a data set, which is 136, minus the smallest number in the data set, which is 104. 136 minus 104 is 32. 32 is the range of our data set from our storing balloons. So I'm going to write 32 right here, and we have completed our record sheet for our data sets that we had created with our balloon activity. So thank you, class, for doing this activity with me and learning with me today. Y'all all did a great job, and I'd love to know if this was something that you enjoyed doing with the balloons, if it helps you to remember. We also had our poem that I'm going to send home with you. Let me know how that helps you to remember the difference between mean, median, mode, and range. We'll be using that information again later this week. So how is mean, median, mode, and range used in everyday life? Well, look at it this way. Okay, your report card. You're usually looking at the mean when you get your report card at the end of the year. Your report card is your grades. The mean of your grade at the end of the year on your report card is how many points you got in that class divided by how many possible points you could have gotten by the end of the year. It's just the same in sports, like looking at a batting average of baseball or softball. The batting average is the mean of that data of the player's total amount of hits divided by the amount of times they went up to bat. And so you can see how it's just really important to know how to do these things like mean, median, mode, and range in everyday life just by these few examples. So this is when statistics like mean, median, mode, and range have value for us to know more about data. All right, class, y'all did a great job, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye.